Okay, so you can.
So who made up the boxes?
Do you want it sideways? Or
Sideways. Always, whenever you're shooting anything for online, I always do it landscape mode.
Right.
It fits the YouTube video much better. Okay, so you might want to stand over there.
Where?
Next to that, Peter. Okay, so you got me in. Okay, well, welcome to BeeTalkLive video or live streaming on the process of introducing nukes to your main hive. This particular setup is what they call a 5-frame nuke, which means that there's 5 frames in this box. The actual nuke count or frame count in this, though, is more of a 4-frame nuke. It has 1 frame of honey, 3 frames of bees and brood, and 1 foundation. So this particular nuke is a special design by a friend of mine. It's designed to be able to be used as a 5-frame nuke, ship bees easily, and at the end you can also use this for all overwintering the smaller 5 frame, anything up to 5 frames that you've done over the year. And the reason, so you just set it on this top like this flat top inner cover like that without the bottom board on it. So you can look 2 more queens in your yard,
same spot.
In the same spot.
Yeah, sure.
So in this situation, you would have 3 queens going into winter. But so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to undo the lid so that you can actually get at your bees. You'll take the box and put it on your support box over here. This keeps it in closer proximity to where you don't have to bend over to the ground all the time. You can't stand bending over to the ground. Okay, so this is our style of inner cover. We have a flat side for summertime and a recessed side for winter. This recessed side allows the bees, two layers of bees, to be over the top of the frame, so their queen has better access to this. So this one was pre-set up to have 5 foundations, and so you pull all these foundations out, set them to the side. Then you take, if you've had any dead outs over the winter, you can save some of the honey from them, and if they die just from colony collapse or some other disorder like that, or just weren't big enough to make it through winter, it's not going to be filled with disease and limited pesticides, both of which are an issue when you're raising bees. You want to be careful not to have too much disease in your colony, preferably 0, but that's not possible. And if you're in a pesticide zone, you're definitely going to want to maintain your rotating your comb quite regularly. Now you can see we have the 5 frames of bees here, 5 frames in this box. This one was honey when it was made up. This one was a frame of bees and brood. This one was a frame of bees and brood. And this one was a frame of bees and brood. The queen was on one of these. These were made up as queen right colonies. So these are the breeders' last year's queens. They've been overwintered. Some are made with what we make up queenless nukes, which we add a queen to that was raised this year. So you generally break the frames apart, put that under there like that, lift it up into your hand, and then on the other side, you lift it up and you can grab it like that and pull it up. Pull gently. Whenever you're removing a frame, try to pull it as straight up as possible,
Sure,
so that you're not brushing the bees off, and what we call rolling the queen. So now they're starting to work the comb out on that. That's a nice frame of bees.
Huh?
Although, technically speaking, it's a half frame of bees
Why are the only ones?
because they're working outwards. The bees always work from the center of their nest outwards. So when we're putting this together, we're going to carefully check them apart. I like to lift this side first into my free hand. Then I come over and I grab that side and lift it up. If you do that every time, you'll run the frames will come out easier every time. Not falling back down as you fumble around lifting. Now, that's also a really nice frame full of bees. That frame of bees.
They're almost.
So that one, would you, if you're evaluating, this would be a full frame of bees and brood.
Right. Because you can see the.
It's
You can see the brood in there. See the
this
different
whole
types?
area is brood.
Yeah.
That's cap beneath there. That's all brood.
You see the
Okay.
little guys, the larvae.
I would want to be relatively quick with this because the weather is not what I like.
That's cold.
Okay.
I want to get it back in. That one's not down all the way.
Now we take the next frame out. We don't have to find the queen
But it'd be
in
nice
this
to see
process,
it.
but then it's always a good idea to do it. There's a beautiful slab of brood.
Wow,
cat
is that
brood.
ever, eh?
Another
That size
slab.
too, just
When
load
this
it.
all those when the bees emerge out of there, there'll be 2 frames of bees.
Yeah, on top of what's already
Yeah.
there.
So this is a really quality
Yeah.
nuke. This is the
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
hive you want to be starting your beekeeping season with.
Wow, that's wonderful to see, eh?
Oh, there
Yeah.
she is.
It should, yeah.
She got her. There you go. There's
Wow.
another beautiful frame.
Okay, put her away. Wow,
Okay.
that's boy, you got good eyes. You spotted her just like that.
She's been doing it a while. Okay. And
Well, the
this
one
one-
with the golden bums are way easier to see.
Yeah.
And this was just a frame of resources when it came over here, and it was full when I put it in there. But
They'd use most of that.
it's all been gone.
They're
'Cause-
hungry.
This year has been a really bad year for nectar production, so a lot of nukes have been made up with syrup. Now,
With syrup.
technically speaking, we want to, when we're putting this together, not all frames are made equal.
Yeah, there's a little bit of room for
Brand names, that's one of the things about standardizing your gear. Brand names are important because they're not the same. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this feeder out first. Give me some space because I moved it over there a little too quick. I'll pull this frame out of honey and resources, and I'm going to move it over to this side. Now, if I had comb from last year, I would separate this a little bit,
and put
and
one
I'd
in
stick a
between.
frame of comb in there,
Yeah.
and I would do similar. And there's actually a box over there that's got comb in it.
You want some of it?
Yeah, bring me a frame of comb, and I'll make this one. This one I'm gonna make up.
So you have the feeder on one side, and you have the and you have the honey on the other side. So you've got food wise.
Okay. This one's actually got a fair amount of drone brood in it. This was probably one of the ones. No, it's got fire in it. Okay, so that goes down in next to your nest. The reason why I do that is because they don't have to make any comb for this to work. So they'll just clean it up. She'll start laying eggs in it, and from that point on, she's going to fly. So then I switch this over a bit. Now, when you look at the way I set up my yards, I put them all in 4-packs. So to make feeding easy, I like to put the frame feeder on the outside. That way, when they're all in the same place,
Yeah. You can
then
just
you
go
know where they
around.
are.
Yeah.
But when they're on the outside, you can just crack the lid a little bit, push it back, and you're feeding right. You're putting the
You don't
syrup
have
right
to
in there.
open it right up.
Don't have to open it up. Now,
That popped up a little bit.
okay, so then I fill up the rest of the box
They're a little busier now.
with foundation because we've been moving around and banging them a little bit.
Yeah, they've got this.
We're at the limit of where I like to do. This process can be done really fast.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, we
we're-
didn't have everything right here.
and we're also talking and showing and this kind of thing.
I just got everything. Wow, tight fit.
Yeah, and that's because this feeder comes from a company that makes their feeders too fat.
Yeah.
They're wider. Normally, I get my feeders from Bee and they fit perfectly. 9 frames fit perfectly. The company that markets this is prone to register 8 frames. They like 8 frame hives. Personally, I don't like them.
You like the 9 frame.
I like a 9 frame hive. I like a standard Langstroth box, so that not only is when I'm working the equipment, it's easy. Most frames are designed for a 10 frame box. A 9 frame with a feeder.
feeder right there.
I could put a frame in here. I don't like doing that. I don't like doing it is because the difference between the extra frame and the number of bees is marginal. But having access to be able to pour sugar syrup into your hive
Anytime.
at any moment,
Yeah.
it's really an advantage because if there's a drought or it's wet, you can take over on the camera, please. If there's a drought and you need to the nectar fishing, then you need to feed.
Okay.
Now on the other side here too is that whenever you're drawing comb, like there's 3 frames plus a foundation in here, you want sugar syrup in your feed. Because if your sugar syrup isn't there and there's a change in the nectar flow and they stop drawing comb, it's very difficult to restart drawing comb. So by having nectar in here, like a little thin syrup in here, the bees are always going to think that there's a flow on, so they're never going to stop raising brood or making comb. And if they do stop making comb and they start up, that's usually when all your ugly comb starts. They'll make burr comb in the middle of the frame. They'll do all kinds of weird things in the process of trying to get started again. Yeah, so essentially that's about it. That's the process. You then place the lid on in the summer position so the very side is up.
Don't worry about squeezing those bees.
There's a bee
there.
space.
There's enough space.
As you can see on
Yeah,
the lid here,
yeah. Well, they were just punched up pretty heavy there.
they move real easy,
Yeah, I see that.
right? And then at that point, you take the box with the residual bees. You can either shake them in, or you can just sit it like this in front of the hive and leave it,
Yeah, and they'll go in.
and they'll go to the queen. Then you take your lid and you place it on
Over everything.
like that. Done.
Well,
The extra comb or foundation that I made up and put in this box can go into any other box. The reason why there's more is because we had 2 frames that we added in here, and I always like to keep a frame around. So then that can go in. This can then go into your storage boxes, and I like to keep a storage box handy on the yard. So if I need it, I'm not having to run on to the
elsewhere. Yeah.
In this particular situation, when this is our only yard at the moment, we're not putting on the truck, so it's in the home space, so it wouldn't be hard to go to the warehouse and grab a frame of bees or a frame of equipment. That's it.
Hit end here.
Yep.